Over here. So I do a AA program inside the Arizona State Prison System. Am I presumptuous to think that I can pierce the veil of drug abuse and criminality? Can I pierce that? Or really all I can do is show up on time and tell them they're loved? Maybe I'm making a statement that I'm asking you to make the question. But what can I do here? What can I do for these men that are floundering?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I want to apply it to therapy. Then I want to apply it to AA and to meetings of AA, Recovery, Strength, and Hope meeting. I was shared this image yesterday too. Let's say you come to see me for therapy, and I don't know why you're there other than the little bit you told me on the phone. But there's like a ritual, like a liturgy that I've done so often. I know it's going to have to happen if the healing you're hoping for is going to, and here's what's going to happen. You'll talk and I'll listen. At a certain point, I'm going to ask you a question, and it's a real question. And the question is such that you can't answer without pausing for a moment to listen to yourself. And then when you share, you're becoming more present to yourself in my presence. It's like that. See, so we can't, and the healing's already started. But here's the thing. I can't make the healing happen, but I've been trained as a strategy to sustain invitational openings. And AA is like that. See, it doesn't happen chance. No, you can't break through it. But it's just not, don't keep your fingers crossed and let's give it a try. See, you're following a lineage of an unfolding wisdom path that has a history to it in the lives of people, and you honor the path. So every therapist has a theoretical orientation. So the therapist is listening to you. They're really listening, but they're listening in a certain way. They're listening for patterns that you're not consciously aware of that are holding the hurting places, your depression, your hurt, your fear, this way. And as they listen, and when they answer, when they respond to you, it's not just their opinion. Everyone has an opinion. See? It's not an opinion. They've been trained to listen to you in such a way that they can invite you to draw it into your conscious awareness, something that's going on inside of you. And when they draw it out into conscious awareness, it increases self-efficacy. And you know it helps if it rings true. See, if it rings true, the person becomes more consciously present to themselves, like an insight into something. And by doing that over and over, and there's another thing too that the therapist does. It isn't just that they've been trained to see the pattern that holds the hurt. They also see a pattern of unactualized growth and potential that's inside of you. And you don't consciously see it because you're so aware of the pain, you can't see the wholeness that's there. But when they mirror it back to you and model to you your own wholeness, it brings out into the open your wholeness to be present to the hurting place. If that makes sense in a way, a lot of recovery works that way. A lot of therapy, a lot of life works that way, really. Yeah.
Over here. When we are involved in doing healing work, which so many people in this room are, pastoral care, spiritual direction, working in the prisons. I work with addicts and alcoholics on a 12-step based animal and equine healing. How do you keep from, you hear so much trauma, okay? I heard a young man share about how he was born in a party, and the party was full of the sound of fists hitting flesh, gunshots, and when his uncle and father got tired of their cocks and their pit bulls, they turned them on each other. And the trauma. You've heard a lot of trauma. How do we keep from absorbing that, yet still remain compassionate and empathetic, but not take on that pain?
Yes. Well, first of all, I think one thing that helps is to come to terms with your own trauma. I mean, that you're walking the walk within yourself. That, same with recovery. You've found a way to be present to and walk through your own trauma this way as a transformative process. And so when you're listening to trauma, you're aware of the trauma, and I was mentioning this yesterday too, countertransference. You need to be very aware that the details of the person's trauma so closely echoes your own, you're starting to get re-traumatized because it's somatic. You can feel it in your body. So interiorly, you need a strategy to kind of back off, to distance yourself, to get regrounded for your sake and theirs. For their sake. And by the way, so not everyone can do that. It's a gift or an intuition. Some people get their doctorate, they can't be therapists, so they teach it and write. I mean, everyone has to. It so suited me. You know why, what I felt? The unrelenting resiliency of the human spirit. I was so moved by it this way. And also, sitting with a lot of people, the circuitous, intimate unfoldings of their own story this way. Like session follows session, setback follows setback, insight follows, and you walk the walk with them. You can't push the river. See? Sometimes you get a clear feeling, you get a core sense in the person of what's going on, but you dare not say it because it would violate them. They're not ready for it. And then there's a certain moment, the moment is there, but how do you frame it in a way that'll have the best possible chance of touching the person this way? And so it's the artistry of that. And so it's a gift. You know, everyone has gifts. And there's the gift. It suited me. I really, it was good. It was a gift for me.